The Masters dinner is coming up this April, and we're about to witness something that has never happened in its history. It's no news that the PGA Tour and LIV Golf are locking horns in the biggest golf feud ever, and this has affected the relationship between players on both tours. Buddies have quickly become enemies, and players are filing suits and snubbing each other on the range. And no matter how some tour professionals try to downplay any tension in the forthcoming dinner, I can categorically say that there'll be a lot of surprises. Stick around till the end, as I'm about to reveal to you why the players expect tension at the 2023 Masters dinner, and what tricks Norman and his boys, likewise a PGA Tour, have up their sleeves for the coming event. The first Masters Champions dinner was hosted by Ben Hogan in 1952. Hogan, the then reigning champion, hosted a dinner for all previous winners. The inaugural dinner marked the formation of the Masters Club, its membership limited to Masters champions and some honorary inductees. And now, the Masters Club is known as a Champions Dinner. Traditionally, the defending champion hosts the Masters Champions Dinner in addition to holding the privilege of choosing the menu. But let's face it, the golf world isn't enjoying the serenity it did decades ago, so we can only expect this year's dinner edition to be a lot different. With the existing animosity, it's safe to say that the annual gathering of the past champions for a meal of the defending champion's choice could be, in a word, awkward. With LIV defectors Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, and Sergio Garcia among several green jacket holders that have ditched the PGA Tour for the Upstart League. At the Genesis Invitational pre-tournament press conference, Woods said something shocking and unexpected for a player of his class.
You know, that's a great question because I don't know because I haven't been around them. Some of the players out here have, and...
Yeah, you heard the man. Tiger claims to have no idea what's to come. And that should come as a surprise because Woods has been very vocal about golf pros ditching the PGA Tour for huge sums of money. He and Rory Mclroy have maintained that players who choose to call it quits with the PGA Tour should be prepared to face the consequences of their actions. Also, the PGA Tour has never failed to remind players that apart from facing a ban, they stood to lose the opportunity of competing in any of the majors. But all of that soon changed when Augusta announced that it wouldn't be towing the line of the PGA Tour by restricting the Rebels from making an appearance at this year's Masters edition. Tigers also admitted that the PGA LIV row also had an effect on the relationship between the players.
Our friendships have certainly taken a different path.
But then again, he feels everyone should just put their differences aside and honor one of their own.
Need to honor Scottie. You know, Scottie's the winner. It's his dinner. And so...
Woods also said that they must realize the nature of what has happened in the past months with players switching allegiances. Just where our situations are either emotionally, legally, there's a lot there. And indeed there is. World number one, Jon Rahm, said he feels the Masters dinner is going to be a bit more tense compared to how it's been in the past. But the bad news is that he won't be there to witness it himself. You see, since the guest list at the Masters Champions Dinner is only restricted to former tournament winners and chairman Fred Ridley, the 28-year-old Spaniard won't be in attendance. However, that hasn't prevented the former U.S. Open champ from theorizing about what sitting around the table at the highly anticipated dinner in April will be like. The Tuesday night annual dinner at Augusta National, prior to the first major of the year, will likely be the first time that many top-ranked members of the American-based tour will be in the same room with their former peers who jumped ship to the Saudi-funded LIV Golf. In John's opinion, it might get awkward.
The Masters Champions dinner is going to be a little tense compared to how it's been in the past.
And while everyone is focused on dousing the tension, Rahm feels bad he wouldn't be there to see things for himself.
I wish I could be there and just be able to see how things work out,
But then, Rahm spoke about changes on the PGA Tour, which has been a source of controversy in recent times.
I think it's an exciting year. Not that, obviously we're all curious about how it's going to work out, but...
Yeah, like he said, the PGA Tour is making changes to adapt to the new age. But does that include changing its schedule? You see, the PGA Tour ratified modifications to the 2024 schedule that will see some designated events have a reduced field, including the elimination of the cut halfway through the event after the first two rounds. the player fields will also be reduced at the designated events to 70 to 78. However, these tweaks will not apply to its marquee events such as majors, the Player Championship, and FEDex Cup tournament events. Shortly after the announcement, the Big Phil was quick to claim that he was the brain behind the idea. Mickelson, who dominated headlines last year after ending his 3-decade relationship with the PGA Tour, said he suggested the tour's new elevated event changes to Jay Monahan before heading to the Norman-led series. He also revealed that after taking the plan to Monahan, he was shut down immediately, only for them to implement his ideas in the face of viable opposition. With the soon-to-be-introduced events extremely similar to those contested on LIV Golf, the PGA Tour bosses have been severely criticized, especially by their rivals on the other side. But Monahan and company have staunchly defended the overhaul, stating that the motive behind the idea is to have the world's finest golfers competing against each other more frequently. One great chapter does not make a great book. What makes a book great is the whole story, the transitions, the flows, and the connectivity between each. And that's what we need to deliver a bestseller. We must show the world our finest players competing against each other often. And that's what golf fans have wanted. So here, we have LIV Golf basically saying, hey, why criticize us and imitate us at the same time? And that makes a lot of sense because you can't point accusing fingers at an opposition and later try to copy their schedule while keeping up with the criticism. But no one saw this endless bickering coming, not even Tiger.
I know that some of our friendships have certainly taken a different path.
But despite the continuous name-calling and back and forth, Rahm feels everyone has the right to pick a tour without it having to affect personal relationships.
Before, I respect the choice, and the ones I was friends with before, I'm still going to be friends with, right? It's just, that doesn't...
Rahm also made a very shocking statement that threw a lot of opinions into question.
Let's say animosity, if there's any, might be created more by you guys than anything else. I don't think there's that much of a problem between players.
So here's Rahm saying that players on either side have no form of animosity between each other. And if there is, it's more likely caused by the media. And to back his claim, Rahm said if any of that existed, the players would be avoiding each other. But Rahm isn't the only player who has the same opinion. In fact, a golfer on the Saudi-backed series said the exact same thing.
Put it up into a different situation than it really is. We all get along. We're all fine.
Could Brooks Koepka be speaking realistically? Or is everyone just trying to downplay the tension between the players? Your guess is as good as mine. I think we might have to school these guys on recent happenings if they claim not to be aware. First was Rory Mclroy and Tiger Woods lashing out at Greg Norman, calling for his removal if the two tours had to collaborate. In no time, Norman responded, calling Woods a puppet of the PGA Tour. And if that's not enough, what about Rory Mclroy snubbing Patrick Reed on the range before the Dubai Classic?
And if roles were reversed and I had to throw that tee at him, I'd be expecting a lawsuit, so.
And Rory didn't even deny snubbing his colleague. He said he didn't feel the need to acknowledge him.
And I was busy working and sort of doing my practice, and I didn't feel the need to acknowledge him, so.
So if Rahm and Koepka say the guys are cool, when in reality they're not, then there's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes that these guys are trying to cover up. But Rahm and Woods aren't the only ones who have been thinking about dinner at Augusta National. As reigning Masters champion, Scottie Scheffler had the chance to tell LIV defector and 2-time Master champion Bubba Watson his plans for him at the dinner.
The LIV guys, I saw Bubba on vacation this year, and I told him that I was just going to have a separate table for him in the corner by himself.
But if Scheffler changes his mind and doesn't seat Bubba in the corner, joining him at the table could be Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Charles Schwartzel, Patrick Reed, and ex-Masters winners who are now part of LIV Golf. And just when you thought that'd be all the fuss about the dinner, Shooter McGavin, who is best known for playing a villainous professional golfer in the 1996 comedy Happy Gilmore, took to Twitter to make fun of the man of the moment, Scottie Scheffler, for including this in his invite. But why do the LIV golfers have to meet on the 9th green? I'm guessing to set the sprinklers on to get them wet. That's a fun one, Gavin. So how do you think Scheffler and the other PGA members will handle things with their former colleagues? Do you sense a tense atmosphere? Let us know in the comments section below. Buy some cool golf gadgets at our store or click on one of our videos for more intriguing golf content from us.